You know, one of the worst things that can happen to any motorcycle rider is to wake up and find your steed missing from your driveway or the hotel room in which you're staying at. It's something that's all too common nowadays, not only in Canada but in the US and even around the world. Motorcycle and power sports thefts are on an increase and an all-time high. Now, one of the ways that you can stop this, or at least help prevent it, is to use one of these, a motorcycle caliper lock. This bolts onto your rotor, or fastens onto your rotor, and helps deter would-be thieves from taking your hard-earned steed here. So today we're going to take a look at this one that I bought off of Amazon for under $30 and see if it's any good or worth your money. Okay, why don't you sit back, grab yourself something cold to drink, and enjoy Dino's Tinker Shed. Looks like I gotta wash some mud out from underneath the DR here. I'll be right back. Anybody who's been watching my channel for a while knows that I like a good value in a product when I buy it. Now, I've had very good luck buying things like camping stoves and clothing off of the internet simply by following the reviews and making a logical decision or an educated decision before I buy something. Now, when it came to buying a disc lock for my motorcycle, I turned to Amazon and I found this one for under $30. I think it was $27 all in. Now, it's a combination disc lock alarm, so it actually has a motion sensitive alarm built in, 120 decibels, that if someone disturbs your bike, it's going to let you know. I think it got about a 4.5-star review, which for me means it's time to try it. It seems like it's a pretty good product for the money that you spend. However, there were a few concerns that the alarm system that's built into it was a little bit too sensitive, and even the wind could set this thing off. Now, that's definitely something I do not want to have happen in a campground or a hotel parking lot at 2 o'clock in the morning because the wind has set the alarm off. So I want to test that today. However, I want to maybe take a look at this thing first. So why don't I put it up on the bench? We'll take a look at how it functions, what comes with the kit, and just overall quality, and maybe we'll take a look inside too, how to change the batteries. And then I'm going to put it on the bike and we're going to test it to see just how sensitive this thing is. All right, let's get started now. The lock is made from die-cast aluminum and steel components with an opening of about 7.2 millimeters and a locking pin of about 6.7 millimeters. It looks pretty robust. It also comes with this safety tether that you use to draw attention when you're using the lock, and 2 of these barrel keys that are pretty common in bicycle and motorcycle locks across the industry. Now, it also comes with this storage pouch that's supposed to attach to your belt, and you might think you're going to look like Batman, but if you use this thing, you're going to look like Schneider from One Day at a Time, so this thing's just going to go into my storage box. The lock weighs in around 270 grams, or about 9.5 ounces. Now, if you include the tether, it's going to bring it up a little over 300 and almost 11 ounces. Pushing down on the plunger will arm the alarm and lock the lock. Now, using the key, both disarms and opens the lock back up. What the manufacturer wants you to do is put the tether through the opening first before you lock it down onto the bike. Now, once you do lock this onto the rotor, any movement or touching will give you a 3-beep warning. Now, if you continue to play with it, it's going to set off the alarm until you open the lock up. Okay, let's get this thing onto the bike now and have a look at it. Well, that's what it looks like. It's really, really simple, really. The caliper lock snaps through your brake rotor, and that prevents the wheel from turning. To remind you that that lock is on your rotor, that's what this little guy's for here. That stretchable cord or dog leash wraps up around either your clutch or your throttle handle on the handlebars to remind you that, hey, guess what? I've got a lock on my rotor. You better not ride away and smash it into your brake caliper. That really wouldn't be too good. Now, overall, the lock itself does sit really tight against the rotor, and it would be really difficult to get something like a hacksaw in there to actually cut this thing off. I'm sure it can be done, but realistically, just a little bit of this, and it's triggering the alarm to go off, and just a little more, and it's really loud. I'm sure my neighbors love me. So realistically, if this is outside of your hotel room or even in your backyard, you're probably going to hear that thing going off. It's pretty effective. The lock actually comes with a Allen key, a 2mm Allen key to get these bolts out to gain access to the batteries. Now I'm using a little bit longer Allen key here just to keep my mitts out of the video basically. But once you get these cap head screws out of the unit, you can pull off the aluminum cover that houses both the alarm system and the battery tray. So here you can see the alarm system on the front. There's a little plunger bar there that pushes down, and in behind is the battery tray itself that just pulls out to the back. It's pretty simple. Now the battery tray holds 6 LR44 batteries. I think these are hearing aid batteries. They're pretty available. I don't know how long these will last. Will they last a season, a week, a month? I have no idea until I start using this thing. However, they do seem to be held in fairly well. Now pushing down, you can see it arms the alarm by pushing down that plunger on the alarm system, and the motion sensor and everything must be built into that, but unlocking it releases the plunger and you're good to go. Okay, I think that sort of gives you an idea of how this lock is built and how it attaches to the bike. The next thing that I want to do is take it outside, give it a little bit of a test, mostly for sensitivity. One of the complaints that I did read about on Amazon was that the alarm itself is maybe just a little bit too sensitive, and anybody that walks by the bike or even a strong gust of wind could potentially set this thing off. So I'll bring it outside, set it up, bounce the bike around a little bit and try to figure out some way to simulate wind, and we'll see exactly how sensitive this thing is. All right, let's get that done now. Okay, this is the only way I can simulate wind with my leaf blower. Okay, it looks like I can set it off with wind, but it's got to be pretty strong wind, and I think it actually is vibrating the pull strap here. That's what's actually triggering it. Overall, I don't think it's too sensitive. I think it's not too bad at all. Anyway, it's interesting. So what are my final thoughts on this $30 disc lock? Is it worth it? Let me just tell you, I've worked in the public service for almost 30 years, and I'll tell you, locks are really for honest people. If a thief wants your motorcycle or they want to get in your house, they know how to circumvent these kinds of devices. And all you have to do is go on YouTube and look up like the lock picking lawyer, and he'll show you how fast it is to pick even one of these tumbler locks. So these disc locks do provide a somewhat false sense of security in a way. But what you're really buying with these kinds of things is time. Most thieves that steal motorcycles or power sports are really opportunists. They're the kind of person that really says, hey, there's a motorcycle there, it's not locked, the steering lock's not even working, I can take it and get it out of here. And they have the gumption to actually do it. What something like this does is it adds an extra layer of complexity to the heist. Seeing one of these things, nice bright and red, locked on your disc means it's going to take more time for them to get that off of your disc. Time that they might be able to spend on a motorcycle that is less risky or will take less time to steal. So although these are not infallible, I do think they add some time and some deterrent to make a thief go to the next motorcycle and not steal yours. So yes, I do think it's a good value at $27. I am sure there are other locks out there that are of stronger, higher quality, all kinds of stuff like that. But believe me, working in a park system for years, I've tried all kinds of different padlocks over the years, and it doesn't seem to matter how much money you spend on a padlock or how infallible it is. If somebody wants the thing you're protecting bad enough, they'll find a way to get it. So I would say this is probably a good value. The one thing I would say is the alarm could potentially be a little bit sensitive. We could see that with the wind. Now, I think the lock is really the deterrent, not so much the alarm. So you could always just pull the batteries out of this and the lock would still work perfectly fine, and you wouldn't have to worry about the alarm going off in the middle of the night and waking everybody up in the hotel if that's a worry that you have. So anyhow, I hope that you enjoyed this review. If you did, please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you think, and I think I'll see you next time, hopefully here on Dino's Tinker Shed. You have yourself a great day, and I'll see you soon.